All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you very much for your patience. It is, of course, MLPDota, joined by johnxfire for our first series of the night between Keen Gaming and LGD. And John, a terrible thing's happened, John.
10 seconds remaining.
LGD, they asked for first pick. We knew it was coming, and look at that second ban by Keen Gaming. Very upsetting.
I mean, it's the smart move for Keen, of course. Every time LGD's had first pick, usually they bring out that Rubik for FY, of course. I believe Keen has had enough time to watch LGD pull that off to ban it out, which is fair enough. A lot of really good options left open for LGD, of course, and we'll find out exactly what good option they go for. I think one they really like is the Doom, which hasn't been banned out, so we could see it coming out again for Chalice here, Mike.
Certainly could be the case. Of course, Chalice. I mean, you say Doom, John, but the Sand King he's been playing as well. I mean, my goodness. The man's been on absolute fire. If I was LGD right now, I'd just give him the Sand King. Just pick it up. Oh, they'll go for the IO? Really? They're going to the IO Gyro combo?
I mean, LGD has run it, and they haven't lost any of their games in any of the series, so I feel like if they want to play it safe, just run something that they know will absolutely beat Keen Gaming without like experimenting too much with their draft or without showing any of their new strats out. I guess that IO Gyro is still a very stable choice for them because they've run it once, and I think they managed to make it work. I believe they ran it once,
They did.
and they made it work, of course.
Yeah.
But again, it's a bit. I expected something a bit more exciting. I mean, Keen Gaming here, they go out with a Beastmaster Lich straight up, and this combination does tend to work well. We've seen a Beastmaster come out really a lot here in DPL, Mike. It's been doing a lot. Of course, the emphasis is back on those summons. The Hawk is just pretty much free vision, and the Lich with his lane control as well, and the damage he puts out now, it's still fairly good. And of course, before when he had a sacrifice, it was very good against Io Gyro. I believe it still is, because if they jump someone and you're around, at the very least, you can get a nice two-man Chain Frost going quite well. But, it's not as amazing in denying that XP now, of course, but it's very good in controlling the lane. LGD does end up picking that Gyrocopter, Mike, which with the IO, you really do just expect it.
How long is it? How many nerfs are they going to have to give this Gyrocopter before this godforsaken hero is out of my damn game, John? I'm so sick of seeing it. Last season, in the last patch anyway, it felt like every single game we casted had a Gyrocopter in it, and it just got sickening. Not to, of course, it was the Terrorblades, the PLs. Don't get me wrong, that was terrible too. But I don't know. This hero just annoys me now, just looking at it. But nevertheless, like you said, it's a safe pickup. Everyone knows how to play this lineup. We saw Arme and FY on that IO Gyro a few days ago, and well, Arme, he just farms incredibly fast on this hero, which is to be expected. Of course, Keen Gaming, John, Beastmaster Lich, pretty nice combo, pretty strong in its own right, especially in this new damn patch. Still, what we always talk about with any team going up against LGD in the DPL, they need to do something different. You can't go these drafts that are very obvious because LGD is just going to abuse them, right? Like they're going to know how to counter them, and they're just going to outplay you every single time. I don't feel like Keen Gaming has gone different enough quite yet.
I mean, they still have a lot of choices to fill in this gap, but yeah, it's a bit standard so far. It's nothing out of left field. I feel like we might have to see something a bit, again, a bit different coming out. I feel like the PA would have been very good, but the LGD do ban that out. As, PA just jumps into that IO, closes the gap with Gyrocopter quite well. And she's really strong right now thanks to changes in her skills, of course. I believe the scalability of Phantom Strike is pretty darn great too because it's on a timer instead of set amount of attacks, which basically nearly doubles your DPS at the end game. So it's been a really good spot. I feel like that's a very smart ban out for LGD, and it should make it harder for Keen Gaming to find an interesting draft. I mean, they ban out the Magnus themselves. I feel like a Magnus Jug would have been pretty nice for Keen Gaming. Again, with a rework to how Juggernaut's Omni Slash works, and just having that Empower to flash farm fast. It would have been really nice. It would have kept pace with the Gyrocopter's farm for sure. But they do ban out that combination themselves. They ban out the Doom as well, so Chalice won't have that option. But the Sand King's still there, Mike.
It certainly is. And I imagine LGD will pick it up if King Gaming don't. And King Gaming, I mean, they already have the Beastmaster off lane, so they probably won't go for that. But what will they go for? That's the question.
5 seconds.
Of course, we did see the Doom ban, John. In this patch that came out today, and there's been a couple today. Oh!
Ooh.
Okay. This is what I'm talking about, right? They need to do something different. The Spirit Breaker, it got a lot of buffs in this recent patch. It's apparently been doing fantastically, at the very least, in pub games. And against the IO Gyro, like when you need to continue that, you need to really be aggressive with these guys. You can't leave them alone to farm. I love the Spirit Breaker pick.
It's going to be really interesting. A lot of synergy there for that Spirit Breaker, of course. I feel like that new Frost Armor is going to be really annoying when you're playing against that Spirit Breaker. You just Frost Armor him up, have him charge in, and he's going to bash you, and then you're also slowed and taking tick damage. Of course, LGD, pick up that Sand King. The last time we saw them run this Iron Gyrocopter, they did have Chalice on that Sand King as well, so kind of to be expected coming out from LGD. And King Gaming just go for the Razor. I feel like that is a good response as well to the Gyro, but it's definitely not a very flashy hero, Mike.
No, it's perfectly fine though, John. It's received a lot of buffs, right? It's still a strong hero. I agree it's not flashy. It is a bit like it doesn't go that amazingly against the Gyro, but I guess when you're going up against the Sand King, that's such a pain in your ass these days, you may as well have someone like that can just dominate a lane like Razor. John, I almost like I know I'm really pushing the limit here, and it's not going to happen. But I would have loved to see King Gaming go with like a Spirit Breaker Darkseer combo, like the old school days, which we have been seeing pop up recently, just so you know, in pubs now. Definitely not going to happen this game. They've already got their lanes set up. They need a mid laner at this point. I don't know. I'm just happy to see this hero come out. I'm just so happy to see something different already. How do you feel like the Spirit Breaker is going to go?
I think it's going to go really well. They did need something to close that gap with the Gyrocopter and the IO, and since the PA was banned out, Spirit Breaker's like the second best thing, really. He can just charge in, get that backline on the IO, bash him up, make sure he doesn't tank up that Gyrocopter for too long. In combination with Razor, of course, it's pretty good, because Razor, he will focus on the Gyrocopter for the most part, sucking off his damage, so you still need someone to focus down that IO. Spirit Breaker's really good for that. I think the one thing King Gaming's draft lacks is definitely a bit of team fight. LGD with that Sand King and the Gyrocopter, of course, brings a lot in team fights. King Gaming is looking really strong for ganks and early game rotations, but when it comes down to a 5v5, you're really depending on just good bounces from the Lich, and that's pretty much it, really, for AoE damage. LGD picks up that Shadow Shaman, so we will have the support duo of Io and Shadow Shaman, which is fairly strong. A lot of lane presence for Shadow Shaman, of course, and you can push down towers fast with your wards, and it's really easy to trap people inside now, although you probably won't be able to trap the Spirit Breaker as long as he has charge. Otherwise, you'd have to expend all your single target control on that Spirit Breaker, giving free reign to Razor, Beastmaster, and Lich. But otherwise, it's a fairly solid pick to round out this draft from LGD so far. I feel honestly, I feel like LGD's draft is pretty standard, like almost like something from 7.19, the last patch.
Still, should be fun to watch. Of course, again, it's just Chalice Sand King that you want to watch, John. He's just fantastic on this hero. I do wonder what they close it off with for Somnus.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, he's been pretty on point no matter what you give him. Like, I think yesterday we saw him on a Pugna, and he was just ruining people, John. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just do the same thing right now with the Pugna IO combo that you always like to talk about.
Oh, yeah. It's a hilarious combo, but they go for the Weaver instead.
Hold on there. A mid-Weaver?
Likely. I mean, I'm not sure if LGD is the team to do this, but we've seen support Weaver before, Mike. and we could see a Cord Shadow Shaman, a support Weaver. I'm not sure about that one, but again, I believe we've seen, some teams have ran support Weaver before, and some teams have ran Cord Shadow Shaman before. That's an option. I don't think it's going to go that wild, right? But it is an option if if they so choose. I'm a bit curious about the Weaver pickup again into the Spirit Breaker. You should be fairly easy to spot out. If you try to Shikuchi away, Spirit Breaker will just mark you with his charge, and that escape is not going to be as easy as it is because of that Spirit Breaker.
Clean gaming. Last pickup for them. Again, they do seemingly need a mid hero right now. Who do they go for? I mean, going back to what you already said, they do lack some decent team fight. Like, they've got very good single pick-off targets that they can go for, but overall, like, you haven't got a Sand King that can literally, stun 3 or 4 people, or even 5 at once. You got that Epicenter as well. That's really all you need. That's the funny thing about a Sand King, right? It's like, why would you go for a Tide Hunter who can Ravage, when if you've got an amazing Sand King player, you can do the exact same thing?
As long as they're definitely, if the enemy team is in a bad spot, yeah.
Are
The
you
Tide
kidding?
Hunter does have his utility. No, I mean, I'm saying, the Tide Hunter still has utility, Mike. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it
Just
does.
saying.
Yeah, it has utility, but we never see it.
It's not come out in this patch. Not for DPL, at least. We haven't seen it come out yet.
I would like to see it. I miss
It
the
would
old
be
watermelon.
interesting. Oh yeah, it's good weather for it as well. Keen
Yeah.
Gaming really ticking down on their reserve time.
Mm.
There are a few choices I feel like they could go for. They could give the Puck a try. I think that would be pretty decent. It would give them some AoE control as well. What do they go for here? They go for the Mirana.
Again, John,
Not sure about that one.
a lot of single target pickoff potential. A lot.
Yeah, a lot. But again, they just really lack control in the team fights. They have a Beastmaster who controls one person down. They have a Lich. I guess the Lich is probably their greatest area of denial here, with his gaze. It's AoE. It's channeled, but if you can stand in a good spot, you could probably break a combo or two.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's really mainly single target coming out for Keen. I feel like their lineup definitely has to play in that early game while they are extremely strong.
Mm.
Try to shut down Ame's gyrocopter. Try to slow down Chalice's timings, and take as much objectives as you can within the first 15 minutes. After that, if you really haven't slowed Ame down, he's going to pop up online. Chalice is going to be a bit too tanky to deal with, and X Nova will just be pushing down towers. So you will have to watch out if you are Keen Gaming. You have a bit of a timing window,
Yeah.
and because once LGD is online for the team fights, they will just stick as 5 for the most part.
Well, John, I must advise for anyone that was wondering what the hell I was just doing, I forgot to set up my camera controls. Every cast, John, every time I start the stream, I always forget something. Whether it's a draft overlay, whether it's, And I was just sitting here going, have I set up my casting? No, I haven't. I haven't set up my casting controls. All right, let me set those up. Now they're done. And we have a pause straight off the bat by the sounds of it. And he resumes straight away as well. Okay, fair enough. And
Nope.
no, Arme's not happy about that. Cut it out, X-Nova.
I do enjoy this, Mike. You know me.
I know you do,
I
John.
miss the pauses.
It's been a while since we did some Southeast Asian Dota, John.
Oh, it's definitely been a while, Mike, and I miss it. It's home.
But we will
I'm
be doing
Southeast
it.
Asian.
We'll be doing. I know you're Southeast Asian, John. I think the world can tell you're Southeast Asian.
Can
But,
they really?
Well, you've got a certain accent, John, that does, that does indicate that. Just like I have an Australian accent. Like if people heard my voice, they go, "Oh, he must be from Australia, not
No,
New
Mike.
Zealand, not South Africa, from Australia."
Nah, you sound a bit South African to me, Mike. I'll be frank. It does sound a bit Afrikaans to me.
Oh, anyway,
I
gotta be very careful with these race-related jokes right now, John.
well, yeah, definitely so, Mike. Yeah, it's a bit dicey,
Mm.
and I'm not sure what you're seeing in your tips, Mike. It's telling me to remain calm. I'm
Oh,
calm. It's
mine
only a
says if
game,
you
Mike.
attack a hero while 500 units or more away from creeps, they will not attack you. Well, there you go, John. That's why the creeps were aggroing you so much. You weren't 500 units away.
Yeah, well, good to know, Mike. And it looks like, yeah, there we go. Finally, we go. There's a bit of a exchange of hi and hello from Somnus for some reason, but we will have a mid Weaver, Mike.
Mm.
And speaking of, yeah, up against Ying's mid Marana, which we actually haven't seen too recently, have we?
No, no, we definitely have not. Of course, it did receive a couple slight nerfs, but nothing to write home about. It's mostly that attack speed from the leap, I believe. Nothing too special, John. It's still a great hero if you do run it well. So we'll
I think
see.
she got a quality of life change. So when you leap, you're facing the right direction,
Ah, of
the
course.
direction you're landing. If I
Thank
read
goodness.
patch notes right, so no more awkward, awkward positions while you're leaping at the very least.
Looks like King Gaming already setting up for a gank
30
attempt here
seconds
at
to
that
go.
top rune, though Arme and FY seem to know what's going on here, and they will wait it out on the high ground for the moment. Because I'm sure, John, you've probably always got to be afraid prior to the game start that Spirit Breaker will be waiting for an attempt to charge. Now, the Lich will run down the hill. They should have seen that. It looks like they're actually going to just stick around, grab the rune, and LGD not even going to bother. Or are they? Arme? Just a bit of harassment. There's the charge. Doesn't really do much, though. And now, Rocket Barrage coming in. Kaka will be punished for his insolence. How dare you? I don't think that charge is very worthwhile, honestly, from Kaka.
It's well, it's a low cooldown. Its mana cost is pretty significant, but I'm not sure how many times he was planning to charge in the lane anyway. So not the
Kaka,
biggest loss. He is copying a lot.
yeah, he has to be very careful about this, though. They are still dealing some damage to Arme, and Kaka just makes a run for it. Looks like he
Forced
wanted
use
to.
to salve.
Yeah, he does salve up, and he's complete. He's not. He's got no mana for the charge now, John.
It's a bit of a rough spot as a support Spirit Breaker. Of course, you do not grab that level 1 bash, so your harass is really just charging at people. And right-clicking, but your right-clicks don't do too much.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's a
not.
bit of an odd spot.
It's not like he went for like an Orb of Venom either. You know, it's
Hmm.
something where you can really harass, trade some right clicks. He went for the shield, the stout shield, but I don't know. This is the first time we're seeing it, so he's probably doing a bit of experimentation here. Just don't know how I feel about this from Kaka.
At the very least, he gets the creep pull, so some XP, easy XP for 11 and Kaka on this top lane. But yeah, it's going to be a hard time for him to... Well, he has mana now, but again, level 1 charge with Beastmaster, it doesn't exactly scream kill potential to me, Mike.
No, it certainly doesn't. Bot lane, I'm having a look here. X-Nova and Chalice, of course, are together. They are up against Old Chicken and Dark. And actually, X-Nova may end up falling right now. And Plasma Field comes out. X-Nova, he will be the first blood to Old Chicken. Of course, the static link, John, he didn't really steal that much damage, but even that 17 stolen damage, it does seem to amplify the health removal of the Shadow Shaman quite a lot.
It most certainly does, Mike. One thing to note as well, X-Nova was extremely slowed down by that plasma field.
He certainly was. Old Chicken. X-Nova again goes
What?
down. He just TP'd back down, but underestimating that plasma field again, John, and even the frost shield.
He really has to be careful now. He's still level 1, and Chalice is now going to have a bit of a rough time
Somnus?
against... Hmm.
Somnus ends up going down mid lane. 3-0. Keen Gaming. Already really showing up to play, and the thing is, John, with this strat from LGD, if they get behind on this Gyro IO, it could be disastrous for them.
It definitely could be. This is a really good start for Keen. Exactly what their lineup needed, as we were mentioning in draft. They have to play to their strengths in the early game, try to secure a snowball for themselves, and I think they've pretty much secured it for the most part. Really good start so far. 3 kills on the board. And, it stands to get bigger, but it's a good start, Mike.
Yeah. We did see Dark. He just did deny himself to the tier 2 tower. Pretty usual stuff, like you just get a quick respawn time. Nobody ended up actually killing him. He died voluntarily. Looks like FY does go for a bit of a pull top lane, but Kaka is going to be there to soak some of that XP up. Because it's one of those things about the pools now as well. Nice little stun coming out from the neutrals, but even if you get the deny on those dire creeps, John, like he still gets the XP for it. So it's not really, it's much more efficient for Kaka to do this. And now he's actually going to try and deny himself. And luckily for him, they're not going to be where he's doing it. Though FY moving forward onto Old 11. Looks like Old 11 will be perfectly fine. Kaka, it's a long respawn time. He had like 24 seconds.
Yeah, that's a lot of XP you're going to be missing out on, of course, which is why most people go to the towers now.
Old chicken bot lane. Falls very, very low, but again, that frost shield coming in handy. Already at that level 2 mark, he's reducing 40 damage as long as it's physical. Now Chalice is actually being charged up by Kaka. That plasma field again, it does a lot of damage and the slow is substantial. That may be enough, although that is a nice one. Now the Frost Shield Chalice, can he actually get out of this one? Kaka still charging in. He will eventually get him. And now Old Chicken makes a run for it and he will find the kill as well onto X Nova. Keen Gaming, 5-1 now, 5 minutes in. They'll get both the bot boundaries, and in fact, they'll get every single one by the looks of it.
Again, a very good start for Keen Gaming. 5-minute runes all going to them. They secure 5 kills for themselves. The bot lane, Chalice, now going to have a really hard time to try to snowball. His item times are definitely going to be a bit slower than we're used to seeing. And, it's a good start for this Razor. Old Chicken now having a good time in the bot lane. Catching up a bit in the farm. He is just a bit behind compared to Ame's Gyrocopter, but he's definitely ahead in kills.
Mid lane, John, they're going into Somnus again. He just Sakuchi'd up and he will end up falling. This Spirit Breaker, already involved in 3 kills 5.5 minutes in. That is substantial.
It very much is, and I think that is one of the issues when you pick the Weaver into the Spirit Breaker. You are very susceptible to just getting ganked up again. Your durability in escaping.
Ame going to get charged up. They don't really have any mana to speak of on Old 11 to actually dish out the damage. It looks like they're just going to contest those neutral creeps. Now, what a stun coming out from that Centaur, but again, no mana to follow up with. It does look like the side of King Gaming will be happy to back off, and, well, they find themselves with a 2k net worth lead for the moment. And John, I'm looking at the farm of Ame, like he is farming pretty well. He's already got those 3 Wraith Bands, but this is still a Gyrocopter and 7.20. It's not amazing.
Definitely isn't. He didn't get changed too much. A charge down mid again.
Yeah. Somnus. Arrow is, well, was already missed actually. Although no, it wasn't. They get a bash. And now double Burrow Strike comes in from Chalice, but it's not going to matter too much. In fact, are they going to go for a team fight? No, they are not. They're going to TP out. Looks like Kaka will do the same. And FY, he does manage to get Old 11 at that bot lane, though Old Chicken is here now. That Static Link sapping a lot of damage from Ame. FY will be the target. Plasma Field came out as well. And of course, the server lag has begun for me, John, which is very, very frustrating. But 7-2 now. The net worth lead remains 2k, the way of King Gaming.
Once again, a very good start. A very early rotation from Old Chicken. But I feel like that's definitely worthwhile. No one's in your bot lane contesting. As a Razor, you do enjoy the farm, but you have to really just, play to your strength, which is just dominate the lane, slow down the enemy laner. And in this case, it was Chalice, but he was rotating around, so I figured Old Chicken could probably help clean up the top. And if he's going to hang around, it's going to be a really rough time for Ame. Oh.
Looks like Old Chicken. Static Link is there, but it's just too late, it feels. He will end up falling now. Old 11 came in. There's not much he can do about this. And mid lane, they end up getting X Nova this time around. Somnus will try to dish out some harassment, but Kaka is very, very tanky, and Somnus has to be careful. The charge is available. Arrow is not, but it will be in a second. And Somnus Oh, he's going to get charged. He gets dusted from the low ground. He got the haste rune, but if that charge connects, never mind. It looks like Somnus will be able to get away, and it looks like Arme ends up getting Old 11 again at that top lane. But very lucky that Somnus was able to get a haste rune. Now bot lane, actually, Old Chicken going to be chased down, and he will go down again by the looks of it, though Somnus, he runs the wrong way, and that's a big mistake. He could still go for this, but it's too late. He's getting charged right now. Arrow, easiest arrow of his life. No, time lapse is there though. Charge is still coming in. Starfall connects as well. Burrow Strike is there. Now the relocate coming in as well. They're throwing everything at this Mirana. Karka just came to the party. He's like, what the hell's going on here? He will end up losing his own life. Though Somnus is ticking down to the urn, but FY saves him and relocates him out. 8-6.
That was a pretty messy rotation from LGD, but in the end, I guess they got something. They managed to save Somnus as well, and really good ferry back from FY once again. Just really nice stuff, as always. Oh, Dark.
Dark is playing around with that Weaver. There's that gaze. But look at the damage he's copping right now from that Sakuchi. Dark, he will manage to get out. Karka is still charging FY. Do they have a Roar available? They did, but Chalice was there and the Shrine was already available, so they just back off.
Once again, very good response from both teams. Both are really trying to secure this early game for themselves. Still a good lead for Keen Gaming, but LGD is bouncing back just a bit. And if you're Keen, you do want to have your stuff online. I mean, Old Chicken right now, still level 5 compared to Ame at level 7, after pretty good time in lane.
Yeah, he had those couple deaths though, and they actually roar up FY top lane, and it looks like FY, nice tether attempt, but he will end up going down. Mind you, you commit the roar for that position 4 kill. Not amazing. I think they're still going to be happy with it, but it's still not like the best kill in the world.
It's not the target you want, but you know, a kill's a kill, and slowing down the IO's progression is pretty worthwhile as well. You don't want the IO to have all his regen items up at a good time. However, that does leave Ame free to farm, Somnus as well, just playing catch up a bit, as he is relatively behind on this Weaver. That does buy them some space, and that level 1 Roar is not the shortest cooldown. It's not the longest either, but that is some time for LGD's course to farm.
Dark, he will get caught out again. Awkward positioning from the Lich, he will just end up falling. He does give, I guess, Old 11 that vision, so he knows that they were coming in. But then again, Old 11, he has the Hawks available, so I do feel like that was just a mistake.
Yeah, it's a bit strange to be that far forward when, you know, you haven't seen the enemy heroes in a while, but it is still just a Lich. Again, they're just trading supports at this point. The cores are still farming up, although Ame has secured himself a nice lead now.
Looks like he's just going to continue this farm up as well. Just going to hang out in the jungle. Going for that Yasha next. He's getting fairly close to it as well. The thing is, like King Gaming, they had that good start, but they haven't taken any objectives. The kill board has evened out, and the net worth is actually LGD's way now. So it's kind of like, if you can't capitalize off the great start you had, it just kind of becomes useless, honestly.
Definitely does. Again, Keen Gaming's draft does want to get something done by the first 15 minutes to really slow down the pace of this IO gyrocopter, which they haven't at this point, I have to say. I mean, Ame is top of the net worth. Right now, he is working towards that Yasha first, and he's got 4 Wraith Bands up. He's pretty strong, I have to say. It's going to be hard to contest him in teamfight. The threat of that Relicate is definitely still very strong. So you do have to watch out. In comparison, Old Chicken right now on that Razor is still at 4.2k net worth. Not the most amazing start, considering that he got a couple of kills in the laning phase.
Certainly so. Of course, we should note in the patch that came out today, they did nerf the Wraith Band once again. So it's mostly regarding attack speed. It seems like they're nerfing. Well, teams still seem to like it quite a lot. They're not bothered by it whatsoever. Now bot lane. Serpent Wards were dropped. The whole team's pretty much there, making sure they can push that tier 1 down, although Arrow connects on FY. He will get bursted. Now X-Nova. Chainfrost comes in. X-Nova is dead as well, and now the charge. Kaka, he has found Arme. Uses the Nether Strike as well, and Arme is down. They do get a tier 1, but they pay heavily for it, although Chalice came in for that. Now it's going to be a full team wipe coming out. LGD!
What?
What have you done?
I mean, I have no clue why Chalice decided to come in when he's lost all 3 heroes at that point. Somnus is well playing in that back line. And once again, the power of the Lich's Sinister Gaze just comes into play. It's just really strong in holding these heroes down in a bad spot. And a bit of an overextension from LGD. A very awkward overextension at that, Mike.
It is unusual. I think LGD perhaps maybe a bit overly confident in this game number 1. We realize it's LGD, but you don't want to give these kind of hero kills away. That's a full team wipe at the 13-minute mark that we saw. Can be very, very costly. King Gaming, though, again, they really do have to start making things happen across the map. Like, still no tier 1s taken. Yeah, you're ahead in kills, but that's not really going to like help you win the game, per se.
They do still have to play some catch-up on Old Chicken as well. Still a bit behind in farm, which is still surprising to me. Again, he had a fairly good start. Only 1 death, 5 kills, 4 assists. He does have his drums up, so maybe that'll help him have a bit more impact. But I guess when it comes down to it, again, the Razor just can't flash farm like a Mirana or a Gyrocopter can, so probably to be expected he'd be lagging behind like this, but not exactly what you want to see when you have to play around this early game.
Well, there will be a smoke. Necro 1 is up on the Beastmaster. Old 11, he's going to find Arme. Just standing there chilling out. He gets roared up. FY did not go for the relocate play, and now the Chain Frost comes in. FY is also dead. And they did not tap the shrine. Thank you for the observer for pointing that out, John.
That is very keen. Like, but the stun out from the Beastmaster, of course, just held him in place. He could not activate shrine. FY was a bit too far as well. So no one really there to flick that thing on. Might have been a bit of a waste anyway. Because FY, he was way too far out. Damage coming in was way too much at that point. And just a nice clean pick off for King Gaming. And again, this is exactly what they needed to do in this point in game. They managed to take that tier 1 mid, which is again a pivotal piece of map control going their way. Now it looks like they're going to go for the defense down bot.
Yep. Who are they going to find? They do charge onto X-Nova, though the relocate coming in, and Old Chicken ran right into the middle of them. I'm not sure about that one. That Kaka can't really do much. He does back off, and the T2 tower probably going to be under siege. Kaka? Where's he charging to? Looks like he's going all the way up to top lane, and he does cancel the charge off anyway. That did seem slightly strange, but it seems like he just wanted to move faster into that middle lane.
Pretty wonky engagement again. Oh, it's still going.
Bot lane, Burrow Strike, they do find one. Frost Shield is there. It does help out. The Shackle's actually cancelled off as well. And now Kaka comes in back in with the charge. They want Chalice. Arrow ends up missing. Burrow Strike comes out. Dark ends up going down. And now they found another. Kaka is going to be the target, and he's gone. Nether Strike will not end up connecting. Old 11 now does get a roar off onto Somnus, and he does end up going down. Chalice will be the next target. The Starfall does end up finally connecting onto Chalice. So a 2-for-2 trade. I gotta say, I'm kind of shocked at how many mistakes both teams are making, John.
Yeah, it was fairly strange. All things considered, very, very scrappy team fight. Scrappiest one I've seen from both sides, really. And LGD, King Gaming does come out on top of that. They only lose their Spirit Breaker +1, whereas LGD loses 2 cores. You know, Chalice's Sand King and Somnus's Weaver. We do want a fair amount of farm. I mean, Somnus right now, he is lagging behind even more. Like, KG has definitely closed out that gap. They're only trailing behind Ame's Gyrocopter, which is to be expected. Everyone else on LGD is kind of suffering. Somnus is at 5.5k net worth. Even a Beastmaster is about 1k more than him. It's not an amazing start for this Weaver. There is still some more room. I mean, KG still has to apply some more pressure here. But it's definitely not roses and sunshine for LGD right now, Mike.
Well, certainly not. Now, they are putting a little reliance here onto Arme to just keep farming up. And he's doing so like an absolute champion. King Gaming, Moonlight Shadow committed. They seem to know that Arme is in the jungle somewhere, although they are going to run into X-Nova, who puts a sentry ward down, and they're not going on him though. Frostblast was there. Now Kaka uses the Nether Strike, and they will take him down. Homing Missile does come out. Will connect onto Kaka, but that'll be the end of that. I feel like that was a waste of a Nether Strike. It just seemed like they did not want to jump on X-Nova.
They definitely hesitated for quite a while there. It's not a short cooldown as well, that Nether Strike, 100 seconds at level 1. So if LGD does something in this, in that opening, they can probably just ignore the Spirit right now.
They're going right now, straight onto that Lich, no Chain Frost to come out, and now, can they get FY? Yes, they can. The epicenter, they're going from Chalice. Old 11 is falling very, very low, but Arme's falling even lower, and he will end up going down, but the Burrow Strike, it will connect onto 3 heroes. Unfortunately, there's no follow-up for them. It's a 2-for-2 trade for the moment. King Gaming, they want to keep chasing for more. X-Nova comes in as well. Plasma Field, not going to be great. The Shrine is so close yet so far. Now Kaka, he's stuck. He will go for the charge. There was no mana for the Burrow Strike, and it was on cooldown anyway. And now the Mirana is making a run for it. Leaps in, TP's out. Chalice goes for the Burrow Strike, does completely end up missing. But a 2-for-3 trade, LGD seemingly coming out on top. Although they did lose Arme.
Not the greatest trade in the world, but it's still a bit of a win for LGD, I suppose. He managed to take that Razor out and really slow down his effectiveness. He is catching up a bit too much now. So they lose Ame, but they also slow down Razor. Fair enough trade from LGD. Not the ideal, but they're still getting a bit more.
Top banner, they ended up arrowing Chalice. He does blink out, though the charge is still there. They will cancel it off.
The prize is mine.
When you look at that Mirana, she's really caught up in that farm. It's just a matter of whether he can translate that to the pure DPS his team needs. Bot lane, who have they found there? It will be X-Nova going down. Old 11 just solos him, and now the relocate, but Kaka was ready for it. He still charges in. He's there to help out. The Nether Strike is available, though Somnus is in, and he's going to leave the Beastmaster alone. They will not initiate. Necro 3 books were up anyway, it seems, so I guess perhaps that's why they just didn't bother with it.
Does make sense, I suppose. Support for a core is a pretty big trade for LGD. Again, the kill going the way of Ame is pretty nice. Helps him to kind of secure a lead. He is slightly ahead of Mirana right now. Not the greatest lead, but I suppose Mirana can flash farm almost as fast as Gyrocopter can. Shouldn't be too bad, but fairly good pace coming out for both teams. Again, there is still a bit of a timer on KGL. I feel like the effectivity of this Razor will dwindle as time goes on. That BKB will definitely help. So we'll see if Old Chicken can grab it up in the next probably 2 to 3 minutes. It should be up. And that should really help in the team fights.
Old Chicken trying to farm up that BKB. Getting pretty close. Just needs about a K. Smoke will come out from King Gaming now. They will go as 4. It looks like they will just leave the Mirana up top farming. Roshan probably won't be the target. Dark just walked into the pit waiting for his team to move forward, and they're going to run into X-Nova again. Just not the target they want to go for, but it's the only option really, although Chalice is there. He can set up for a nice burrow, and he's going for the epicenter. He moves in. Nobody around though. X-Nova's already gone, and now he will make the jump. The Raw was there, and Old Chicken is alive. He actually gets through the ward somehow. Now Arme, NFY, they wanted to come help out, but they're too late, and now the charge. Where the hell is he going? He's going after Somnus. It'll be a very, very nice pickup, but there's no dust available, John. That's that's not a good mistake to make, and now LGD is going to punish it. But they do get Somnus, and now the Chain Frost, FY and Arme are in big, big trouble. They'll lose FY, it seems. Can they get Arme? It does not look like it. He is well and truly safe. But a 4-for-1 trade.
Really clean from KG. From KG, of course. They kill everything they want to kill except for Ame, and they just get a bit strong. That was the BKB reveal of their Mirana. Not the best usage, I have to say. They secured those kills. Probably could have secured those kills without that BKB, but still, a nice little pull. A nice little set of kills for KG. And again, the only issue I have with these rotations is that they can't translate them to objective yet. That tier 1 down bot is still up. Tier 2s are nowhere near being threatened yet. I feel like KG does need to start to move up to those objectives fairly soon before LGD, farms up that jungle a bit too much. Again, LGD is actually not too far behind. They are still less than a K ahead, but they are keeping up with KG's lineup, which does dominate that early game. It's just not very clear from the net worth because LGD still keeps up quite well, Mike. So I feel like KG needs to apply the pressure a bit more, start taking these objectives and shut down the jungle. Otherwise, Ame will just keep farming up.
Absolutely. Old Chicken, he does manage to pick up his BKB. So we'll see if they go for a surprise reveal with that 10-second charge on Old Chicken. I have to agree with the sentiment though, John. Ame is just going to continue farming up like a madman if you allow him to. I mean, he's picked up a BKB of his own now. 10-second charge available on that, and he's going straight for a butterfly next. And they'll go for a smoke of their own. So LGD, they want to use the surprise reveal of that BKB to their advantage. So if they lose this team fight, it's not going to look great for them. Roshan. Somnus is thinking about it. Arrow, though, will scout this out. So both teams now hovering around the Roche pit, just patiently waiting for the other. King Gaming definitely want to have that high ground advantage. They will smoke in, and they've got the high ground. Chalice, though, can he get a nice burrow off? No, he cannot. He blinks out. Ame has been left alone. He has to BKB for that, and FY will be the target. They move in the Nether Strike. They do take him down. Now Ame, he's all alone, John. They're trying to burst him down as fast as possible, but he will TP out. Just barely. They will lose their 2 supports, though, on the side of LGD, and that is the 10-second charge gone.
That was a bit of a mistake from LGD. I think that came down to Xnova dropping a sentry ward within vision of Keen Gaming's own wards and sentries, which pretty much revealed the smoke and got Keen Gaming ready for that movement. Oh,
Chalice.
Chalice.
Burrow Strike, he didn't use it, and now the Gaze is there as well. This is very, very unusual for Chalice, though. He does not get the Aegis. Old Chicken killed him off just barely and picks up the Aegis for himself. John, what was that? He had the Burrow Strike available, but he just didn't use it.
That was strange. He was trying to walk up for a better angle, I suppose. But I guess the moment he wanted to use that Burrow Strike, he was under the Sinister Gaze. Good attempt from Chalice. That was fairly close, you have to admit. He almost made a Roshan timing. It's just that a bit of a delay in that Burrow Strike just cost him.
Old Chicken being chased down now bot lane, although he has a BKB and he does commit it, and he has an Aegis, mind you, as well. Perhaps the BKB usage may be a bit early, but he's still alive throughout all this. And now Kaka, well, he may die. He did end up finding Xnova in the backlines. They have found Somnus as well. Kaka finally falls, but FY trades his own life for it. Another 1-for-3 trade.
Yeah, it's not going good for LGD right now. This is all that KG really needs to get done. They can translate all these fights to objectives now, especially with that Aegis, which has not been popped yet, if I do believe right. I mean, yeah, Old Chicken managed to live through all that. They can start pushing the objectives now with their Beastmaster and Mirana. And now the map starts to grow a bit smaller for LGD. It's going to be harder for them to keep this farm pace up. Right now, it's only a 2k net worth lead for KG, but once they lose a couple more tier 2s, Ame is not going to be safe in that jungle.
I just can't believe what I'm seeing. Honestly, like, I've never seen... Like, we've casted a few days of the FPL, the DPL now. It's been about 4 days, I think, and nobody's given LGD a challenge yet. This is the first time we've seen them, at the very least, on equal grounds, but on the back foot this game. Just consistently. And on a Gyro-Iro combo that they've run 20,000 times now? Of all things. Like, they're not even experimenting. And this is happening to them. I can't believe it.
It's a very good showing indeed from Keen Gaming. I feel like they've managed to execute their draft quite well despite a few hiccups in the early game.
Sorry, he did actually cancel the charge. I thought he was going to go in. He got pretty darn close though. Keen Gaming, they're setting up. Perhaps even baiting out with the ball. Moonlight Shadow will come out, though they would have spotted that. I imagine LGD aren't going to move forward with that Moonlight Shadow. Though they do seem to find Somnus. He gets roared up bot lane. The Necro 3 units, and he just gets destroyed. Oh my. Now, mid lane, they want to initiate, although Chain Frost will go out onto Chalice. They want to take this Sanking out immediately. The Gaze was there as well. Chalice, still half HP. He will Burrow Strike his way back up the hill. Mind you, John, the Aegis is still available on Old Chicken.
Shouldn't have too long left, but yeah, it's going to be very hard for LG to force any fight while that Aegis is up.
Oh, they go in again. Straight onto X-Nova. Nice double Burrow Strike, but it won't matter. X-Nova is gone, and now Arme. He gets caught out with that Nether Strike. Forced the BKB, but the Bashes coming in. 17%. Eat your heart out on Old Chicken. One more right click would have done it, but he did not want to risk it. He's currently stolen 236 damage. They're going for tier 3 towers.
Has fallen.
I don't see why you'd stop if you're KG right now. You have a lot of damage on. You can do significant chip damage. At the very least, waste that fortify, which LGD does eventually put out. The Aegis is still there for Old Chicken. I'm not sure how much time has left.
Oh, the Gaze again comes in. The Aegis has expired now. Chalice ended up getting it, but he might give his own life away, and he does. No buyback available on the Sand King. KG, do they realize this?
Thanks you.
Surely you do not back off your KG. That's basically their whole team fight gone on Sand King.
Basically is, but I feel like after expending the Aegis and maybe they, they figured that Chalice might have buyback. You better play safe. You've managed to take the objectives you want. You've baited out the fortify, and you might be able to get Somnus here.
Somnus again going for those bounties. The Dark really trying to get that Gaze off, but he won't find it. Kaka looking for a charge attempt. He will go again onto FY. Though Chalice is TPing it. They knew it was coming. Nether Strike is there as well. Where's the help for Kaka? Now they come in, but the Hex immediately on the Mirana. She's in massive, massive trouble. And the Burrow Strike comes out. It looks like she will be KP. X-Nova still alive throughout all this. Meanwhile, Arme dishing out so much damage, though Old Chicken is stealing it from him. Now Kaka, they will get FY. 2 down for LGD. Nobody down on the side of King Gaming quite yet. Kaka still alive, though. He will end up finally dropping, but they've lost Arme. He will buy back throughout all that. In fact, it's FY and X-Nova that buy back. And Chalice, he will find the return. And it looks like Keen Gaming more than happy with the trade. They will back off.
That was a full team fight? A full team wipe for KG?
No.
If I'm looking at the fight recap, must be bugged out then, because it showed skulls. Did they die earlier? I don't think so. So, a good showing from LGD. They do manage to find a few big kills. They still lose Ame. Once again, not ideal, but he's not falling behind in farm, at the very least with all these stats. He isn't really ahead by much. KG is keeping pace. In fact, this game is still fairly tight. 38-19, but only a 2k network lead for Keen Gaming. It's actually not ideal for them right now. I feel like you'd expect a bit more of a network lead after all those objectives and team fights. It's not quite there. And, this Razor is doing great now. I feel like LGD's starting to bounce back. You do have to watch out. And you're going to have a harder time controlling Somnus now, because he does have his Linken's up. And that's going to help immensely. He did opt to go for the Desolator first, which led to a lot of his deaths, but does have some durability now with that Linken Sphere.
FY. John, it seems like they've been really targeting that IO. FY just continuously dying throughout this game. He's currently 3-9 with 10 assists. Chalice gonna play around with this Beastmaster. They're pinging him out. They know. They charge in as well. Nobody is around him at the moment. There's nowhere to relocate either. FY is dead, though Old 11 backs off, and now here come the TPs. They're going on to Kaka. Can he back off? Looks like the answer is probably yes, and Old 11 still waiting around. Chalice is so low on HP right now. Wild Axes doing even more charge. X-Nova, he does get the Hex off. The Frost Shield is there as well. The wards being dropped. X-Nova the target. He gets bursted now. Somnus, can they hold him? Yes, they can. The gaze was there. 3 down again for LGD and Keen Gaming. Extremely impressive team fights recently. They're just taking everything from LGD right now.
Yeah, it's getting really it's still pretty hard for LGD. Keen Gaming is still fairly strong. They're taking some really wonky team fights as well. For LGD, I think one thing to really take note here is that Somnus, I feel like he has not had a good showing on this Weaver. He's had a hard time, to be fair. I mean, Gaze is an AoE channeled spell that ignores your, ignores the
Epi Burrow, it's nice. Onto 2 heroes, they will burst down the Mirana. Now Dark is very low, and it looks like Old Chicken is the same. Chain Frost, though, he's trying to turn this one around. Some decent bounces coming out just to slow him down and make sure they can't really chase, although Dark does end up falling. Now Old 11 should get punished for his trouble, and he does. 4 down for the side of King Gaming. In fact, they might find a 5th. Old Chicken will go for the TP play and will make it out. LGD, again, turning it back around. That net worth, John, still so even in this game. Less than 1k the way of Keen Gaming right now.
Yeah, it's still very tight in that net worth. Old 11 did manage to get outplayed a hair of his skin, but, they immediately lose a tier 2. The tier 3s are under threat now. That was Somnus' buyback. So if he dies here, it's going to be very hard for LGD to hold off the push again. But we'll see just how much damage they can do to this tower.
Frost Shield does help, but apparently not enough. They fortified and Frost Shielded at the same time. Nether Strike will come out. Arme will be the target. Chalice is there with the Burrow Strike, but they've got him. Arme's in trouble. BKB is there, but it's not going to help with the right clicks of the Mirana. And now the Gaze again. Coming out into Chalice. Can he get his way out of this one? Probably not, and the answer is definitely no. They'll get a T3 tower, but they get punished pretty hard for it.
Very, very hard punish coming out from Keen. Once again, LGD do manage to get a nice objective, but they lose Ame. At the very least, you don't lose Somnus because he did just buy back. So that's 6 minutes where he doesn't have that option. And, very fortunate for Keen Gaming, they still managed to defend without the buyback on Old Chicken. He did not have it. He just got his Shiva's guard. Would have been very messy.
X-Nova in trouble. Charge is there. X-Nova should end up going down. FY going for the TP, and no lucky bashes for Kaka. Radiant's Courier actually going down. Serpent wards.
I think it was, it went down to the wards. It was delivering an AC, so that's going to be a very big item that it just took out. I believe that was for our Beastmaster. It had a recipe already, and a couple of components.
Yeah,
so that's going to be a big delay.
He wasn't quite finished it yet, but he was pretty darn close. But now the mid-Rax is going down. Call down is there, but without Chalice and X-Nova, they don't feel safe to initiate, but they do anyway. Somnus is straight into Old Chicken. He's trying to man-fight this one up. BKB is there. Old Chicken making a run. He barely gets out of there, and now look at the damage onto FY. Chain Frost is there as well. Arme will be alright. Chalice coming in from the backlines, trying to find something that they can take. Dark, though. Does he TP out? No, he does not. No buyback available on him. Now the Mirana, no leap charges available. That's a real travesty. And it looks like with the relocate, he is going to end up dying. Although no, Kaka, he came back in. It was a nice charge, but it's not nice enough. 3 heroes with no buyback available. That could be the game.
That is a lot to lose for Keen Gaming. Once again, no buybacks as well. I'm not sure if LGD is completely aware that there's no buyback on the Spirit Breaker, but I'm not sure if that even matters, even if he did have buyback.
Oh, look at them, John. They know.
Tier 3 should be gone. Tier 3 should be gone, and it should be a fairly straightforward push. Now they're going to go for the Tier 4s.
They know they're down. They know there's no buybacks available, and yeah, there's the call. I can't believe it. I actually cannot believe that just happened.
One small mistake, Mike. I mean, look at the scoreboard. 44 to 26. Just 1k ahead for LGD. And one small mistake from Keen Gaming cost them what could have been LGD's first loss.
Oh, man. You've got to be kicking yourself if you're Keen Gaming right now. That one's going to hurt. I'm not going to lie. That's going to hurt a lot.
Ooh, I mean, it was really iffy from PSG as well. Like LGD, Somnus opted for that Desolator first when there was a Spirit Breaker. You know, when there's that Beastmaster who'll hold you down. He did not have a defensive tool. He kept dying in that early game, but just one small mistake from Keen Gaming, like one team fight but no buyback, and that's all it took.
Yeah, that's it's almost disappointing to see, really. Like it was a very good matchup, and again, it's the closest anyone's come in the DPL to taking LGD down, but they will not get the win. Nevertheless, we do have a second game coming up between these two teams. We'll see if Keen Gaming can give us the same showing that that they just showed us in game one. It is MLPDota and johnxfire. We'll be back with you guys in hopefully a few minutes to see how game two pans out. Won't be long.